Hi, I'm Delia. I am an art consultant with an unpretentious approach. Welcome back to my YouTube channel where I'm talking to you about why you should become an art collector and exactly how to do that. As an art consultant, I look at a lot of art and curate a bunch of portfolios for artists filled with art that does not personally resonate with me, that I wouldn't buy and I don't want in my home. But I know for sure that it's good art and I feel really confident sharing that with my clients. So today I wanted to talk about how you develop that degree of discernment in telling what makes a piece of art good and ways that you can incorporate that into your art collecting practice to really strengthen your ability to discern good art. So there's a number of components to this, but the biggest one, potentially the only important one, is whether or not it moves you, whether or not it elicits some kind of reaction or response within you. This can be varied. It can be across the spectrum of emotions, but I feel very strongly that if it makes any kind of reaction within your somatic, your bodily experience, it's a really good indicator. Now, there's a range of emotions. I do not personally want to hang art in my home that makes me feel anger or despair, but I think it makes good art. And I think that that should be something that is considered. And, that can lead into other conversations about your overall collecting strategy or how you are creating balance in your art collection. Sometimes you need an edge, you need a point of tension to create an effective art collection. And so that piece might fit in there. But that is really a secondary level of understanding whether or not it's a piece that you actually desire and want to put in your home, different from assessing whether it's a good and effective piece of art. So it has to move something in you. It has to create stillness or physically draw you in some way. It has to send some signal to your body because you are in relationship with that piece of art. And if it doesn't, I think you can disregard it. I feel pretty sure that that is an essential component of what makes a piece of art good or not. Obviously, that has a bit of variation. Some people have reactions to pieces and other people don't. And so part of this is really honing your sensitivity to your own ability to respond to a piece of art. So really practicing paying attention to your physical experience, your mental experience, your emotional experience as you're looking at a piece of art to really fine-tune that sensitivity and open yourself up widely to the experience of art in order to assess whether or not you're having any kind of movement happen. You have to be present, you have to be aware, you have to be embodied and open to what the art is going to do to you. The second big thing that I think is really worth exploring here is whether there is something unusual in the piece of art. So to me, when I am looking for art, I want to see something that jumps out as me as standing out from all of the other art that I look at in a day-to-day basis. It doesn't necessarily need to be a single technique or aspect of the art. I just want one tiny component that makes it feel unusual. It can be a human error component. It can be a weird creative choice component. It can be a unusual technique or an interesting combination of textures and mediums. There's so many ways that an artist can create that level of unusual. And I do not want to provide a list of things that I've looked for because it's so dependent on the piece that you're looking at. And again, I think it takes a little bit of practice and repetition in looking at art and honing that discernment, but you'll come to recognize it. You'll just have an X factor that, brings you to the awareness that it is unusual or somehow set apart from all of the other art out there. The third component, I think it's important, and this isn't always true, but if you are hesitant, the first two haven't filtered it out completely and you're hesitant, I think it can be really effective to look at an artist's body of work. And I really don't mean looking at who has written about them or where they've shown or what awards they have. I really just mean looking at other pieces that they have produced and being able to gather a sense of what their techniques are, of what their focus is as an artist, their medium, what they're developing, where they're at in their career, how they are thinking about art, and letting that inform the piece that you're considering purchasing. I think we can gather a lot of information from observing an artist's practice and other pieces in their portfolio. Again, I don't really have a list of things that you should be looking for. I think it just comes with a little bit of experience, but there's tons of information that you can gather when you look at a piece from an artist that you're considering purchasing from, and let that inform the other work that you're contemplating from their collection. I think that it provides us insights that we can't necessarily put down on paper, but really lend a sense of depth to the experience of the art that we are looking to purchase. One final component that I want to throw in here in terms of discernment, and I put this last because I think that it doesn't always hold water. But being able to source a piece of art in our cultural context, I think is a really big component of sourcing good and effective art. So what I mean is being able to attach it to a component of our collective experience, being able to root it in our history, in an understanding of our politico-socio world, of our current events, of all of these little components that make up our culture. Being able to tie a piece of art into an aspect of that, I think, can be a really effective way to discern whether it's good or not, whether it is related or not. But I do put this forth because there is some art that is just not related to our current moment, and that is totally fine. There is some art that speaks to way deeper aspects of our human experience, to more raw emotions that are not rooted in our current contemporary context. And that definitely should not be a primary factor in discerning whether your art is good or not, unless that is a part of your overall collecting strategy. So I hope that's helpful. It's practice, but I think that those are 4 really great components to keep in your back pocket when you're looking at a piece of art, to help you kind of filter through the large amount of art in the world and decide what makes a piece good and worth investing in. And then, of course, those are the components of discernment. And then there's really just your desire, which has to be in place. It's an essential component. You should never be buying art just because it's good art, unless it really is something that you want in your home, that you want to build a relationship with, that it's one of those reactions and responses that you really want to be engaging with on a daily basis. Thank you for watching this video. Make sure that you are subscribed to receive alerts when I post new videos. And as always, please send me any questions that came up or topics that you would like me to speak about.